Another year's gone and another WrestleMania weekend has come to a conclusion. And I had a lot of high hopes for Mania this year. I mean, as you saw in the videos that I made, I was really excited about this year's WrestleMania. I really was hoping for the best. I thought, everything considered, this year's WrestleMania could really be a great show. And I thought there was some great stuff on this year's show. Truly, there was. There was a lot on this year's show that I didn't like, or things that just didn't work. So join me for a few minutes and let's break it down. Let's not wait and let's get right into the ending of night 2 of WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes versus John Cena for the WWE Championship. Like I said in my WrestleMania preview video, the build to this match felt kind of underwhelming or kind of weird. There were some really good aspects, and then there were some weird aspects where Cena just didn't show up for a couple weeks. Either way, this felt like a huge main event, with it being Cena's last WrestleMania. And I felt like no matter what the build was like, this match was definitely going to deliver one way or the other. I thought the match for the most part was great. You saw John Cena doing that kind of slower pace, kind of evading Cody. His entrance was very stripped down with just like the Comic Sans or like the very basic font of John Cena. There was no frills at all. The pace of this match was very deliberate. I think you could tell John Cena had a little bit of ring rust. See him kind of talking to Cody throughout the match, and some of the spots you could see him say like, hit me again and things like that. But John Cena has always been like that. I don't have a problem that John Cena won this match. In fact, I wanted him to. The problem that I have is with the ending of the match. After the referee went down, we heard Travis Scott's music hit, and I thought, okay, well, here we go. Here comes Travis Scott and The Rock, and we're going to do kind of this whole interference thing, kind of like last year. And Travis Scott made his way to the ring, slowly was kind of sauntering, coming down to the ring. And I thought, all right, any minute The Rock's music's going to hit, right? Any minute. And then it never did. Let's put that in perspective. Travis Scott alone helped John Cena win his record-setting 17th world title in his final WrestleMania match. Not Travis Scott and The Rock, just Travis Scott. And I guess at the core of this is my problem with WWE right now. We saw The Rock shake up the WrestleMania 41 picture prior to Elimination Chamber with this whole sell your soul to me Cody angle. We saw John Cena turn heel and take it, and I was like, all right, here we go. We're cooking. We're working towards Rock and Cody again. The Rock is involved. He's in the mix. He never once showed up on the road to WrestleMania, and I thought, okay, maybe the Raw before. Didn't show up on the Raw before. Didn't show up on the SmackDown before. I thought, okay, fine. He's got to show up at WrestleMania. We got to tie all of this together. So when Travis Scott came out, I thought, here we go. Here's The Rock. And like I said, The Rock never came out. So what was the point of all of that? Why did The Rock want to help John Cena? We never got really the motives explained to that. It's felt like for the last 2 years that The Rock decides last minute to be involved in WrestleMania or in WWE in some degree. Comes in, everything gets rearranged to cater to him. At least last year it was capitalized on, but this year it wasn't at all. If we fast forward to last fall with Bad Blood, we saw him come out and do the throat slit to Cody and Roman, and we felt like that was leading to somewhere. But then fast forward to the Netflix premiere, he was all like kind of baby face and shouting out Cody, and it just made things confusing, and it felt like The Rock was going to be involved in this year's WrestleMania, and then, well, he just never was. And I think, especially for the main event angles, it really throws off the flow of the WWE. They thought that they were going to do Rock and Roman at 39. He couldn't do that. Then Rock tried to take Cody's place at 40 and messed all of that up, and they somehow made the best out of a bad situation. And then with this, I don't know what happened. Like The Rock, like I said, just totally no-showed, and I really don't understand why. Listen, I'm never going to complain if The Rock is involved, but if he gets involved, he needs to just commit to the story. And maybe in hindsight, I'll look back on this video after the story has been fleshed out this summer and say, oh, okay, now it makes sense. But I have a feeling we're not going to see The Rock again anytime soon if we didn't see him at WrestleMania. And like I said, that's the crux of the argument with this year's main event of night 2. I'm glad Cena won the 17th title. I think there's a lot they can do with Cena as a heel with the belt this summer. I am excited about that. I just don't understand why The Rock set up all this hype for this and then never paid it off. I'm not going to run through every match on this card, but before we go, I do want to talk about the ending to the main event of night 1 of WrestleMania. I feel like this was one of the best moments and the brightest spots and one of the best match of this entire weekend. I myself said I didn't really get the triple threat between these two. I mean, obviously there was history, but it felt weird to have this triple threat main event WrestleMania with no real stipulation. And I think these guys proved me and all the other naysayers wrong. This match was so good. There were so many callbacks and things interweaved in between each other. Obviously, like I said, these men have so much history, so it makes sense. And while the unthinkable happened, Paul Heyman not only double-crossed CM Punk, but he also double-crossed his tribal chief, Roman Reigns, and walked out of WrestleMania with Seth Rollins. I think we all kind of speculated that maybe this could be a possibility. Maybe there's a world where Paul Heyman teams up with the architect Seth Rollins, and I think this is exactly what it needed. This was great. I felt like Seth Rollins needed that boost. I think Seth going forward will be the top heel on Raw. And there's so much now that they can do with Seth now that he's fully into that heel role, especially with a fresh coat of paint with Heyman by his side. I think Jey Uso's days as World Heavyweight Champion are now numbered now that Seth Rollins has aligned himself with Paul Heyman. I thought this was great. It's great to see Seth not only main event again, but to walk out with the win. Overall, I think it's hard to live up to last year's WrestleMania. I mean, I truly feel WrestleMania 40, even though it wasn't perfect, it was very, very close to it. There were so many high points. Obviously, both main events of night 1 and 2 of WrestleMania 40 is about as perfect as it gets. So I felt like WrestleMania 41 was kind of an uphill battle to begin with. The one thing that I do want to address here as we close out was I see a lot of people very critical of some of the sponsors and kind of corporate and the ads that WWE has had in the past years going forward. And at first I was always like, I don't think it bothers me. I mean, I get it. It's a business. I understand. But I will say I'm starting to agree with people, and I do agree with people. A lot of it is kind of distracting. I'll take this as an example. A lot of people didn't understand why the New Day and the War Raiders were on the card in the first place. Well, it seems as though the reason they were on that was so that they could plug their Clash of Clans sponsorship that they had, as the War Raiders came out in some kind of Clash of Clan attire. And I think that's a great example of some of the things that are starting to bug people in WWE right now. But when they start to dictate what's on the card and what's not because of sponsorships, I think that's where things get a little bit tricky. And it felt like at times in between matches, it was just ads after ads after ad. And also, if you didn't have like the Peacock Premium, you didn't even see the video packages before the matches. You just saw ads. And I think that that is kind of a weird thing going forward. I always loved the video packages for the matches, especially for WrestleMania. And it just felt like, why? Like, just to squeeze out a couple more dollars? But it feels like WWE is kind of being very homogenized right now in that way. And I worry as we go forward, they're just going to get deeper and deeper and deeper down that rabbit hole and more celebrity crossovers. And I think that there's a time and a place for all of that. But when it's all over your show, every show, it starts to water things down. Maybe it is a nitpick, but I do see a lot of people online sharing very similar sentiments. And this weekend, I really saw it too. And I really started to kind of be like, whoa, I totally get what people are saying. And I hope WWE doesn't continue to double and triple down on these kind of things, but I fully expect them to. Either way, with the ups and the downs of this year's WrestleMania, I still enjoy myself. I always get together with my friends and watch WrestleMania every year, and we did exactly that. WrestleMania weekend is still one of my favorite weekends of the year. There is so much to watch as a wrestling fan. I hope you all enjoyed watching WrestleMania as well. Let me know down in the comments what you thought about the show. Let me know what you hope to see at next year's WrestleMania. If you enjoyed what you saw, please go ahead and like and subscribe the video. It helps me a ton. I really appreciate all the new subscribers. Thanks for taking the time to listen to me ramble about wrestling again. I appreciate it so much, and I'll talk to you everyone real soon.